Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parrish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parrish. And of course, Restored Motions and restoredmotions.com. If you got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions. Glad to have you aboard with us here. As you probably noticed there in the description, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on over at Texas with them firing David Pierce and Jim Schlossnagle from Texas A&M being the prime target. If y'all been here on Morning Scone for a while, y'all know we've talked about this because of the Jay Johnson Texas rumors. And I'll delve into this and I'll tell y'all what I know. But again, I want to be so clear. Like, and sometimes I've gotten in trouble with this before because people hear things, they misinterpret things, they take things out of context, they don't take full context of all of the content and statements. So these aren't predictions. I'm not breaking news. I'm telling you what I know. Okay. What's it, 3-4 weeks ago, however long that's been, maybe, when Texas season ended, it was a Saturday. It was right at the start of the portal. So it was the beginning of June, about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. Texas was going to fire David Pierce, worst kept secret ever. Remember, Kendall Rogers said it on AFR. I asked him about coaching carousel, and Kendall said point blank, well, one LSU fans may want to keep an eye on is Texas, because if they move on from David Pierce, they're probably going to call Jay Johnson and take their swing. We talked about it. I played the clip over and over again, and Kendall was right. Texas was going to fire David Pierce, worst kept secret around college baseball, and they didn't want to do what happened last time, which was fire their coach and then start a long process of a search. They wanted to have the guy ready to go. So they'd hire without a long search. Well, if Texas was going to fire David Pierce and hire somebody else, they would have done it weeks ago, especially in the portal right now. So why wait until now? Well, because the guy you're looking to hire was coaching last night. It's either Vitello or Schlossnagle. And I'll tell you point blank, every bit of info I have is that Texas has zeroed in on Jim Schlossnagle. The number I was told was $2.5 million per year that Texas was looking to offer. And I think now there's an opinion. This is an opinion, okay? My opinion is I think that's going to happen. Now, it would have been fascinating to see, had Texas A&M won that game last night, what would have happened. Because if they won that game, how in the world do you leave a team when you just won a national championship? I don't know. Because they lost last night, it's easier to leave. And he can look up and say, hey, look, I got A&M further than they've ever gotten in their program history. Got them within a game of the national championship. But what a flex by Texas if they're able to get Schlossnagle. Now, I'll tell you this, and this always is worth mentioning. And by the way, I was even told, like, if they've targeted Schlossnagle, if he gets cold feet at the 11th hour and backs out, that Skip Johnson at Oklahoma would be their next guy, would be their fallback. So I think it's going to be one of those. Now, aside from just watching Texas A&M fans potentially melt if their coach leaves them for Texas, which would be hilarious. The other reason this is really relevant for LSU is because this restarts the portal cycle, right? So the portal window closes on Tuesday. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, you can still sign guys, but the deadline to enter the portal is a week from today, Tuesday. Well, remember, Texas just fired their coach, so Texas players now have a new 30-day portal window. And Texas is going to hire somebody, and whoever they hire, that team now has a 30-day portal window that reopens, right? And whoever that team hires, if they hire somebody else's coach, that team would have a portal. You understand? So it just restarts the portal cycle. And so there's going to be a new crop of players hitting the portal, undoubtedly, here because of this because of this news with Texas. So if you're strictly LSU and you're going, we're unsettled at shortstop. Love to get Gavin Killeen here, but he was a guy that was going to visit Texas A&M. We'll see what happens with Schlossnagle if that stays. Anyway, 1, 2 check. Okay, thought I heard something. It's weird. Anyway, Gavin Killeen. If you don't get him, you'd love for Braswell to come back. What if Braswell doesn't come back? Maybe you have an opportunity, another shortstop. You need a third baseman. You need another catcher. I've told you all about Bear Collins out of St. Mary. So I think LSU feels pretty good about getting, but you need a third catcher. So you need some more arms. You still need on this team. And a new batch of players are going to hit the portal now because of this Texas news. So, okay, y'all do me a favor. YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please follow the page or the profile. Now, of course, I've got my professional page. Would always encourage you to like the page. But if you would follow the profile as well, that's where we're streaming live. We're streaming the video now live from the profile. So if you're commenting on Facebook, I'm going to my page and sharing the video. Don't comment on my share. Please go into the profile, the video itself, and comment there. Those are the comments that are going to pop up here on my on my feed. Okay. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Abner Neal, good morning. And by the way, I know I was a little bit late this morning. My apologies, but we are taking Drew to the doctor for 9:20, so I can go a little bit later. Probably about 8:30 I can go today till I got to get Drew up and get him out of here. So we got a good 30 minutes left. So fire away. I'll get to as many of you as I can. Hey, Brett, good morning. Brad David, good morning. Thomas Primo, morning. Matt from Cocoa Beach, Florida, vacation with the wife and 3 18-year-old girls. Oh, God bless you, Thomas. God bless you. Just keep everybody safe and have a good time, man. Lance, morning, Matt. Do you think the new Texas coach is announced today? I don't know, Lance. I genuinely don't know their timeline. But I know this is not going to be a dragged out thing where multiple coaches, publicly, are mentioned as rumored and possible this, and then they decline it. I mean, that's not going to happen. The next thing you hear from Texas will be them announcing their coach. Jason H., Tyler Clavel, Crawfish Etouffee, Club Ruckus, good morning. LSU chance of picking up Killeen might have gotten a little bit better. Maybe, but let's just say hypothetically. So if you haven't followed that story, but so Gavin Killeen is shortstop at Louisville. He's like a top 10 prospect in next year's draft, the 25 draft. Shortstop who hit 330 this year with 370 something. Anyway, so he's visited Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and LSU. He left LSU without committing. He had one more visit to make. He said he'd make it when the team got done playing. Well, obviously it's Texas A&M. So he plans to visit A&M. But what if Schlossnagle leaves? Well, if I don't know. But if Schlossnagle leaves for Texas, wouldn't it stand to reason that he would go take a visit to Texas? As I understand it, with conversations I had yesterday, David Pierce wasn't even recruiting for Texas. Their boosters were. The boosters were the ones calling with NIL offers and stuff like that. And that's kind of what's been happening in Texas because, again, worst kept secret that David Pierce was not going to be back. Baby Bobby, morning, Scone, praying for you today. Why? But thank you. I appreciate that. Because of A&M people? Y'all, you know what the funniest thing is in the world? It's so odd. So last week, the Bama fans were just flooding my mentions. Yesterday morning when David Pierce got fired, and I had a few convos that really leads me to believe Texas is zeroed in on Jim Schlossnagle. I believe that. I believe, and I will tell you that I believe that Schlossnagle is their target. Now, they may, even if they have an agreement in principle, that doesn't mean it gets done. I've just seen it too many times. I said this on AFR yesterday. I said this on Locked on LSU this morning. If you listened, 2007, Les Miles was going to Michigan. Breaking news alert. Les Miles was taking the Michigan job in 2007. And then Kirk Herbstreit said what he said on game day. Les had to go do that press conference. LSU beats Tennessee. All the upsets happen. And boom, the next morning we find out LSU's playing for a national championship. Well, guess what? Les Miles ain't going nowhere. He's playing for a national championship. Stuff happens. Billy Donovan was introduced as the head coach of the Orlando Magic, and then a few days later left and went back to Florida. It happens. So even if they have an agreement in principle, you still got to get it across the finish line. And I don't know if they will. So, but based on some conversations I had yesterday, I strongly believe that their target is Schlossnagle. And if it's not Schloss, I think their fallback is Skip Johnson from Oklahoma. Anyway, so I tweeted, if Texas actually gets this across the finish line, it might be the craziest coup in college baseball history. Stealing a head coach from your bitter rival after they played for their first men's national title in a major team sport since 1939. Oh, and it would be the year they enter their conference. Sheesh. Schloss worked under Chris Del Conte at TCU. Could that relationship and a $2.5 million per year deal get Schloss to Austin? Well, that tweet has been viewed 467,000 times, and it is absurd the number of Texas A&M people who have just completely flooded my mentions, just crapping on me. And the craziest one of all, seriously, the craziest one for all would be like, there's this guy whose profile is like he's a sports director for a TV station there or something like that. And anyway, and he put like I screen grabbed it because I know people like that. I've been on Twitter long enough. People like that eventually go and delete their tweets so they don't look dumb. Here it is. Daryl Bruffett or Bruffet. He's a sports director at a TV station in Texas. And he put, must be the Tito's talking, with like the laughing little Tom and Jerry emoji. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, the ring light it may not be in focus. Anyway, whatever. So I can't, I'm actually really hoping now that Schlossnagle does leave so I can go old takes exposed all of them on Twitter today or whenever that'll be, and especially that guy, because what a gigantic disservice. Like, you're a media member in that market covering that team, and you don't even know that Texas A&M's coach there's a good chance he gets poached by Texas, and I'm a radio guy in Baton Rouge, and I know that's about to happen, or that's on the table. Fans masquerading as media. It's dangerous. Look out for it. Heard the question asked about Texas wanting him. Didn't seem too happy about it. Think that's just for show. I wish I could play this for you. Let me see. I'll try. Since I didn't save it into this thing, I'll try to Bluetooth it, but let's see if this works. Anyway, I'm having a little trouble getting this connected. Sorry. I wonder if I could play it like this. I'll try to see if this will play. Y'all tell me if this audio is any good.
Difficult outcome tonight, but with the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggieland?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft.
But he's going to sign in the draft, by the way.
You got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
You know what we call that? A non-denial denial. At no point did he say, I'll be here next year. I'm not going to Texas. I'm going to be Texas A&M's coach. By the way, it was also a terrible question by the reporter who said, I don't know who it was who asked the question, but the question is, Jim, are you going to be the Texas A&M coach next year? That's the question. Not, with a certain job and rumors. Would you like anything you'd like to? Jim, are you going to be Texas A&M's coach next year? That's the question. Anyway, dude, people get scared. Reporters get scared. Like, what was it? The baseball coach at A&M is going to bite your head off? Ask him the freaking question that you got to ask him. Do your job. Anyway, but notice in no point of that answer did he say, I'm going to be back. I'm not taking any other job. I'm not interested in another job. It was, I've poured my heart and soul into this. I left my family to come here with the intent of never taking another job. Certainly didn't seem definitive. It's selfish that you'd ask that question. No, it's not. He's doing his job. It's the right question to ask. That's like asking Braden if he's going for the draft. That's a good question. And of course he is. Oh, man. Hunter, what's going on? Alex Day, can't believe Tennessee actually broke the curse. I don't know if I would call it a curse, Alex, but yeah, I mean, the first number one team since 1999. First number one seed since 99 to win the Natty. I mean, it's 25 years in the making. Jason H, low light. Ring light is low or off this morning, or maybe the curtains are closed. Ring light's on. Look. Now it's off. Now it's on. Ring light's on. James McKinney, Rocky, morning, Matt. How's Corey Raymond losing a kid from his own hometown? Yeah, so very candidly, Rocky, I didn't make any calls to see what happened there, but Shea Dixon is coming on AFR today, and I'll ask him that point blank. The most interesting thing is if you look at every single one of the like On Three's recruiting prediction or 247's crystal ball, they all still overwhelmingly have Jabari Antoine going to LSU. So I don't know. Like, I don't know why he decommitted, especially if all of these recruiting services still have him like on 247, 100% of the crystal ball predictions are in for LSU. On three, their recruiting predictor machine, they still give LSU a 95% chance of landing Jabari Antoine. So 95.4. So I don't know, man. I don't know why he decommitted, what's going on there, but he's pretty still overwhelmingly considered to be an LSU guy. So we'll see what happens there. Bubba Smith, Charlie Cavell. Look at Bruno from Brussels, Belgium. I love their waffles. They're great. Hey, Dad, good morning. Juan, Matt, agree with your take. You always cheer for your team. Like in the Olympics, any sport USA competes, you cheer for, especially when LSU athletes are involved. How do you feel about the Mondo case? I get a lot of crap for this. I am not a fan of Mondo. He was born in the United States. He went to high school in the United States. He went to college in the United States. His mother is Swedish. And he would go spend summers in Sweden. All that's fine. But you're a natural-born United States citizen. You were born in the United States of America. You grew up in the United States of America. You attended high school and college in the United States of America. You are an American citizen. I don't like that he competes for Sweden. It's his decision. He can do what he wants, but I also have the freedom to say I don't like that. So I'm not super pumped about Mondo. He's phenomenal. He is by far the best pole vaulter in history. Amazing at what he does. I cannot fathom, as a natural-born American and someone who has so much pride in this country, not representing this country on the international stage. You don't have to like that. You can crush me. I get crushed by a lot of people for it because we're supposed to cheer for the LSU guy. But it's different it would be different if, like, this happens all the time in track. LSU recruits international. You get sprinters, for example, from Jamaica and all over the world. There was a swimmer from Canada who came to LSU, swam and went and represented Canada and won a gold medal. That's awesome for Canada. Great. Like, you're from Canada. Go represent your home country. I get it. Mondo was born here. Like, he was born in the United States, went to high school in the United States, grew up in the United States, went to college. Like, but it's his choice. So he can do what he wants, but I don't have to like it. My friend Michael, morning, Matt. Is Nightcap canceled now that you host Locked On? Maybe not, Michael. So I was planning on doing Locked On live at 9:30 each weeknight. But as I kind of delved into the analytics a little bit more, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I am going to set it as a premiere. I'm going to record it and set it as a premiere for each morning at 7 a.m. The video at 7 a.m. The audio at 3 a.m. Central. It's weird how the analytics work, but audio 3 a.m. Central, video 7 a.m. Central. And then so long way of saying I think I might still do nightcap. Cody Champion, when is fall schedule usually released? Fall schedule. I mean, fall schedule? Baseball? Like the baseball, fall baseball? Well, I guess later this summer. Trey Fisher, what's good, man? Ray, could it be a double switch with A&M coach to Texas and Tennessee coach to A&M? No, but as I understand it, Tony Vitello, when Texas came calling those few weeks back, Tennessee extended Tony Vitello. I'm told he's getting just north of $2 million a year. And I think he's either agreed to, I don't know if he's signed or already agreed to his deal, but I think Vitello's staying at Tennessee. I think Texas has targeted Schlossnagle. Again, Chris Del Conte, the AD at Texas, was the AD at TCU with Schlossnagle for 7-8 years. They have a great personal relationship. Money isn't the thing. Texas A&M could pay whatever Texas could pay. And A&M's facilities, quite honestly, are better. They're building a new $80+ million stadium. And A&M's team next year will be better than Texas's. But if Schlossnagle wants to go to Texas because it's a better job and he wants to work for an AD that he has a personal relationship with, I get it. Connor, congratulations, Tennessee. Great team. Now here's your reminder, 2003 LSU to beat you like a drum. I see what you did there, Connor. I see what you did. Rick, that's my tweet that I put out every year after the football national championship about 2019. And I include the Mike Greenberg tweet. Rick Kelly, Matt, best thing about last night was Tennessee didn't break LSU's home run record. Very true. They were close. Did they end at 182, I think, or 183? They went into last night at 182, right? And then they hit 2 homers, so they finished at 184. So, of course, LSU's 1997 team set the NCAA record with 188 homers. And many thought not only would it not be broken, it would never be approached. Well, Tennessee approached it this year. They were at 108. Now, it's also fair to mention that you play a lot more games now, and they play in a matchbox stadium, but still, they got close. A little too close for comfort. Let's see. Charlie, Bearded Dragon, good morning. Jake, good morning. Losing the star cornerback affect our already poor defense even more. Again, I want to see if that actually sticks. I still think there's a really good chance that Jabari Antoine ends up at LSU. But listen, you've done amazing recruiting the offensive side of the ball for 2025. You got to start popping defenders. And well, let me see how it looks at the end of this recruiting cycle. Cody, where's Caroline now that you're doing Locked On? Yeah, so I don't know if she's announced yet, but Caroline has a new, Caroline Fenton, who is awesome. I mean, Caroline went to LSU. I knew her when she was a student, doing student media at LSU. Actually, I've tried to hire Caroline here in Baton Rouge before, but she's great. She worked she interned with ESPN, and then was in Nashville doing middays on a sports station in Nashville. And so whenever I had to leave Locked On LSU, I kind of handed it off to her. I asked her, like, hey, do you want to do this? And so now that she's leaving for a new opportunity, they asked me if I wanted to come back, and the timing worked out. So, but I'll let Caroline in. I don't know if she's announced her next destination yet, but I'll let her do that. Kirk, what's going on? Hey, Mark, what's going on? Kirk, about to get wild in college baseball the next few days. Yes, it is. Daryl Dennis Scone, LSU got a great pickup from Nicholls State. Yeah, Daryl talked about that. I knew about that. Was that Sunday morning? So I was giving you all the wink about that on Sunday for Jacob Meyer. So talked about it yesterday in AFR, also yesterday on Locked On LSU. So you can go get my full thoughts. And by the way, I'm gonna try to get Jacob Myers on the show today. So we'll see if we can make that happen. Just got to work on his command. Great strikeout stuff, really good arm, local kid, easy to pull for. Hope he does awesome. Just got to work on the command. Brent, what's going on? Mark, what did you think of Stanley Cup Finals Game 7? Didn't watch a minute of it. Kelly, good morning. Jonathan Martin, what up? Crawfish season ends next week, and that's a bummer. But that does mean we get to crab season, right? That's pretty good. I like crabs. Shane D, good morning. Wendell, Brian. Rocky, does last year's LSU team beat this year's Vols team? Oh, my God. Yes. I mean, last year's LSU team beats anybody because you start with Skeens, man. I mean, yes. This Tennessee team wasn't as good, in my opinion, as their last two teams. But it doesn't matter. They're the team that got it done. They're the team that kicked the door in. But yes, LSU would have beaten this team. Does Cam follow Johnson too if he leaves? Does Cam follow Johnson? Oh, Skip Johnson. Oh, good question. Probably. So Cam Johnson transferred to Oklahoma because of Skip Johnson. I got you, Matt. Good question. So Cam Johnson followed Skip. Cam Johnson went to Oklahoma, committed to Skip Johnson. Skip Johnson is a noted, I mentioned this show already. He's, okay. Did you just basically trade what and what? Maybe. But I would think so, Matt. Brian, joining late today. Any chance O'Sullivan from Florida goes to Texas? They have all the assets and support that Florida lacks. Not that I've heard. Brian, I haven't heard that. Again, what the most up-to-date information that I had yesterday was Texas is targeting Jim Schlossnagle. They think they're going to get that done, and their backup plan is Skip Johnson. So we'll see. But again, coaching searches are always fluid, and that's why, like 3 weeks ago, I told you when all that happened, when Texas reached out to Jay Johnson and Eric Bakich and Vitello and Schlossnagle, and they all kind of said no. They pivoted and they were looking at Mark Wasikowski from Oregon, and it looked like that was going to get done. And then Oregon had an absolute epic choke job in the College Station Super Regional, and I think Wasikowski was off the board then at that point. And so they went back. It sounds like then they went back to Schlossnagle with a bigger offer. So we'll see. Again, I'm not breaking news. Like, I'm not telling you that it's final. I'm just like, it's an evolving situation. It's continuing to evolve. I'm just telling you what I know as of now. Timothy Fontenot, Brad, weren't you in the media room when Les denied Michigan rumors said have a great day? I was standing about 7 feet from Les Miles. I had a digital audio recorder that I was holding up next to the speaker next to the dais. I mean, I was like, if you look, it was like Les, Skip, Sean O'Keefe. And as you're looking at the stage to the right, there was a speaker. I was standing right by the speaker holding up my recorder next to the dais. Rick, morning, Matt. How are football summer workouts going? Please wish my wife a happy birthday. All right. Well, Rick, you got to tell me your wife's name, but I would happily do that. How about Mrs. Manuel? I hope you have a wonderful birthday. And I hope Rick gives you everything that you, not that you deserve on this day and treats you absolutely wonderfully. So happy birthday, Mrs. Manuel. And all I know about football workouts is, basically whatever they post on socials. But it's probably a good time to get Jake Flint on the show. See if I can make that happen. Make a note to get Jake. See if I can get Jake Flint on the show. See if I can make that happen. Hooray, is A&M burning. See, here's the difference. Like, this is why the Bama is burning thing works, because their expectation, their standard had been so high. A&M standard was never that high. That's the thing. Like, they haven't won anything since 1939. So it's just par for the course there. Chad or A&M fans not so nice anymore. I don't think they're necessarily being rude. They're maybe just naive. They don't like what I posted. There you go, Rick. Good man, Denise. Well, happy birthday, Denise Manuel. I hope it's a wonderful, wonderful day. Kirk, if this is true, A&M tried to get away from Texas. Now it's the Big 12 all over again. This isn't the first time Texas has done this. Like, yeah. And if I'm A&M, if this does, again, if this happens, like, it's got to be somewhat of a tortured existence, because you've got more money than God. You've got this great fan base and alumni base with tons of passion and pride, and you have all these resources, but you've never been able to win anything. And you just keep getting sand kicked in your face. Like I will give A&M credit for this collectively. It was a bold, brazen move leaving the Big 12, leaving your affiliation with Texas, basically saying, we're tired of being in that shadow. We're going to go blaze our own trail. Like, there's a ton, like, I respect that tremendously. And they've done that here. And they didn't want Texas coming into the SEC, and they were told, sit down and shut up. And then the first year Texas is in the SEC, media days in Dallas. And now Texas is trying to poach their baseball coach. Like, I mean, how many times can you have sand kicked in your face? I don't know. Anyway. Y'all, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, or follow along on the page. We appreciate y'all for being there, as always. Where are we? Ryan, morning, Scone. Tennessee winning the Natty and not knowing how to dogpile to celebrate. It was okay, y'all. It's okay. It was y'all first time. Michael Caps, what's going on? Jeff McKithen, what up? Mr. Wallace. I see the guitar in the background. Strum us a tune. It's always interesting when people ask me to play that. Gordy asked me to play it the other day. You know, and where I lost my pick. I can't play too loudly because Drew's still sleeping. Where's my pick? That actually really concerns me that I can't find it, because I'm wondering if it's somewhere like in this white rug or something. And if Drew finds it, he might put it in his mouth. Wish you could sing the sad Aggie song. So what was I going to play? I was trying to. Led Zeppelin, Over the Hills and Far Away. I need my pick. And I don't know where my pick is. Can I dog it? That's enough. Nobody comes here to hear me play guitar. But I do want to find my pick. I'm a little bummed about that. I don't know where it is. Anyway, okay. It's like the prick that says no way his girl leaves him for another guy, and then the prick. Gage and Bradley Cooper, morning, Scone, ready for some football. These long, hot Louisiana summers drag on. Man, are you kidding me? Like, y'all, we've had a great news cycle already. Even since LSU baseball ended, with all the portal news, great recruiting weekend for football. And now, like, I'm leaving Thursday, and then I'm out all next week on vacation. I will continue doing Locked on LSU, though, every day while I'm gone. And dude, then we get back. I'm back Monday, July 8th, my birthday, by the way. And the next week we're at media days. So, like, I have, after tomorrow, I've got 1 week till media days, and then media days. And while we're at media days, Saints rookies report. The next week, the veterans report. Week after that, LSU reports for fall camp. Like, it's here. I mean, it's here. Carter, Aggie fans are in denial 24/7, 365 a year, a day, every year, every year. Yes. That's a denial, non-denial. Yeah, Kirk, you see, Kirk knows my verbiage. The non-denial. Robert Collins, morning, Matt. After listening to your pick on the A&M game last night, I've now downgraded my July vacation from 38 to Grand Isle. Hey, you know what, Robert? Had you been betting with me all throughout the College World Series or all throughout the baseball season, you would be buying a place in 30A if you'd been betting with me all along. Your boy finished this baseball season, what did it go, 27. So on our they're redoing our landscaping today. On our the picks with Minty, I was 27-9-1, I think. And then in Omaha, I was 10-3. So 37-12-1 overall in my college baseball picks this year. I 37-12-1. You'd have bought a home on 38, brother. Becky was hoping A&M would have won. Brad, that was an interesting segment about the split of the haves and have-nots. I never understood why major powers have to play cupcakes. Great piece by Ross Dellinger yesterday, if y'all missed it. Effectively, all of the conference commissioners met in Naples, Florida this week. And they've basically agreed to a split of Division I. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how it's structured. Ronnie Duga, morning from Everett, Houston. All right, man. Best to Everett, best to you, Ronnie. Hope all goes well, man. Ronnie's visiting MD Anderson, so he's kind of let us in a little bit on some of his health issues here. So big prayers up for Ronnie. Y'all keep Ronnie in your thoughts and your prayers. Send good vibes and wishes over there to MD Anderson in Houston, man. We'll be pulling for you, Ronnie. Cliff, what's good, my dude? What do you expect the coach to say about leaving for another job? That's always been a crazy question to me. But Bearded Dragon, you have to ask the question. It's not what you expect him to say, but your job as a media member. This is what so many fans don't understand. Like this contradiction has always fascinated me because I started my career in news, and in news, you expect the media to hold the powerful accountable. Like if you're watching news, you expect people to ask your politicians tough questions, to ask your leaders tough questions. You expect the news media to hold people accountable. I'm not saying they always do, but that's the expectation. In sports, you ask a coach or a player a tough question, and the media member is the one who gets criticized because fans are emotional. They're emotional about their team, their favorite player. The best analogy I ever heard, or the best comparison ever, was Colin Cowherd. He talked about this years ago when, if y'all remember, I've said this before, so some of you have heard it, but at the turn of the century, Pete Rose had been banned from baseball. The All-Star game, they were doing the All-Century team, and for one day, they lifted the ban. MLB lifted the ban on Pete Rose and allowed him to come be honored as part of the All-Century team. And Jim Gray from NBC was on the field, and he said, "Pete, it's a great night for baseball. Are you willing to be contrite here and admit you bet on baseball?" And Pete Rose recoiled and criticized Jim Gray and blah, 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 blah. And NBC was flooded with calls to fire Jim Gray. And Cowherd said it makes sense. People don't buy Jim Gray jerseys. They buy Pete Rose jerseys. And so that's why you have that feeling. By the way, Jim Gray was right, like we all were. But it's no different. Like the biggest story, you have to ask Jim Schlossnagle that question. But the kid, shouldn't say the kid, the reporter just didn't ask the question directly enough. Jim, are you going to be the Texas A&M baseball coach next year? You have to ask the question, regardless of what the answer is. Then you can't control what he says. You can't control his answer. You can have whatever reaction you want to it. But the media's job is to ask tough questions. Larry Garner, and again, Bearded Jack, you don't ask the question anticipating a certain answer. Like sometimes you ask the question knowing they're going to be evasive, knowing they're not going to give you a direct answer, but you have to ask the question. If not, you're negligent. You're not doing your job. Larry Garner, Eric, will A&M make a cup and a ring commemorating this loss in the College World Series, a la the 7 overtime game? They might make College World Series cups, so maybe. Michael Mitchell, it's not like he goes out and gets his own news. He just jumps from site to site posting other reporters' news because he's above going out and getting his own facts. Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. Let's see. Kirk. Team USA didn't want him. Oh, are you talking? Oh God, that's all the way back to Mondo. Oh man. Yeah, I'm way far behind. Sorry. Okay, let me just go kind of catch up here because it's 8:30. I got to get going because I got to get Drew up and get him to the doctor. Let's see. I'm one of the 18-year-olds on Cocoa Beach with Thomas. What's up, Olivia? Thank you for watching, Olivia. Maybe we have a new follower here. If you want, you can smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're here every morning. We're here every. Well, this is very kind. Look at Olivia said I'm hot. I'll let my wife know that you think I'm hot, Olivia. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not bad for a 42-year-old bald guy, but I appreciate it. Trivia, what's good, man? Jerry, Uncle Scone, the man, the myth, the legend. Shelby getting Creed tickets for the summer of '99. I didn't know Creed was touring. I wouldn't mind. See, here's the thing, Shelby. I wouldn't mind seeing Creed if they were playing like old Creed, like rock Creed, like My Own Prison Creed, like the poppy 2000s Creed, with arms wide open, like that. I'm not super into that Creed. Anyway, where are they playing? I don't know. Are they coming around here? Let's see. Cliff, Texas A&M just seems like the cool kid with the SIG and the motorcycle, while A&M is the nerd with the pocket protector. It is what it is. I will say, Cliff, though, I don't think the cool kid is smoking the SIG. I think maybe they think they're cool, but they're really not. So maybe that does fit Texas. Still to this day, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Smoked cigars, but never smoked a cigarette. Never had the desire. Smells gross. Bad health effects. I mean, to each our own. Do you? I've literally never in my life smoked a cigarette one time. I have no desire to ever do it. Rick, Matt, if you had to pick one player who we expect to be drafted but doesn't or gets a very low offer, decides to return, who would it be? I don't know, Rick. That's a tough question, man. I think the players we're watching are Braswell, Bear Jones, Griffin Herring. So maybe Braswell would be the one. I think Braswell in his draft year would probably want to sign. But if he's a late round pick and gets offered, say, $75K or $100K, does he maybe return, run it back one more time? Maybe. Like, I could see that happening. Kirk. Let's hear the Paris jingle. I'm running out of time, man. I would love. Okay, I just don't think everybody really cares to hear it. But okay, here we go. Real quick.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we got you covered. From the top of your roof all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Sweet. Samba, what's going on? Heard they're not going to serve ice anymore at Bama because Saban took the recipe with him when he retired. That's very good. Any news on the Root visit? Actually, Caleb, I was told yesterday that LSU is really confident they're going to get him. I think, but with caveat, I think everybody always feels good about every player they think they're going to get. But so much to say that I think like they feel their rotation next year, if they had to line it up, would be Chase Shores, Zach Root, who's the East Carolina transfer, by the way, who's the number one pitcher in the portal. He's a lefty. And Cade Anderson. So I think they feel good about it. Now, again, like every coach generally always feels good about recruits, and we'll see. I'd never feel good about recruits until I see like pen to paper and you're officially a member of the class, but we'll see. This is so true, Cliff. The total in the game last night was 10 or 10.5, whatever you had. In the ninth inning, A&M went single, stolen base due to catcher's deference. got to third on a balk, and then scored on a pass ball, and the over hit as a result of that. I mean, that was a bad beat. That was a bad beat. All right. Did the stream end? Oh. Oh, I thought the stream ended. So, let's see. Oh, it's 8:32. I got to go. Robert Collins, Matt is in Tiger Stadium getting upgrades this year, major changes. They redid the lights, so they're doing those LED lights, and they're redoing the scoreboards as well. Let's see, Louisiana Focus. What happened to Texas hiring the Oregon coach? Yeah, so we did talk about that. I talked about that the last couple of days. So Mark Wasikowski, he was the guy when about 3 weeks ago, after Texas made their pitch to Jay and to Vitello and to Schloss and to Eric Bakich, when they all politely said no, they went to Wasikowski. He was going to be the guy. And then if you remember what happened in the Texas A&M Super Regional where they walked in like 3 runs, it was essentially like a non-starter after that. So then they went back apparently to Schlossnagel to make their pitch. And so again, like I say this all the time, y'all, coaching searches, it is a constantly evolving situation. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's the thing I say all the time, and I don't know any other way to say it. Like, it's never done until it's like done. Signed, guy at the podium or coach at the podium being introduced. And like, even then sometimes you have Billy Donovan who takes a job with the Magic and goes back to Florida, or who was the softball coach from Alabama that LSU hired. He was introduced, and then like a week later was like, had second thoughts and went back to Alabama. So like, it's the thing I say all the time, man. I'm happy to tell y'all what I know real time. I'm happy to pass along information, but like, I just got to be careful because so many times it's misinterpreted, taken out of context, given half truths. But yes, Texas had zeroed in on Mark Wasikowski. He was going to be the guy. And then they had an epic collapse in that regional, and they pulled back. Okay, last two. David Potts, what's going on? Or David Bass. Robert Potts. Matt, just jumping in. What's the 10-second update on the search and the LSU impact? Catch Locked on LSU. Long story short, if Texas hires Schlossnagel, remember every portal, every time a coach leaves, that team has a 30-day portal window reopen, right? So like Texas players now have 30 days now, even though the portal closes a week from today, Texas players now have 30 days. Whoever Texas hires, if it's Schloss, if it's Skip Johnson, if it's whoever it is, that team will have a 30-day portal window. So you will see another round of players entering the transfer portal. So, so I think you're going to have more players in the portal. LSU still looking shortstop, third base, catcher. Although I do think Bear Collins, a kid from St. Mary's, there's a good chance LSU lands him. All right, Ethan, how bad is Tennessee's win going to hurt LSU in baseball? I don't think it is. Tennessee was already paying an NIL. They were already getting good players. And, I mean, we had the same question when Mississippi State and Ole Miss won championships consecutively and broke through, and their programs have stunk since. So, whatever. I mean, you're LSU. You have a lot to offer. Just be better. You know what I mean? Okay, I got to go. Y'all, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook. Please follow along on the page or the profile. We appreciate y'all for being there. Locked on LSU is already live. So on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, Locked on LSU, again, will be a massive help if you would go subscribe to Locked on LSU on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. And what am I doing here? There it is. And we'll see you for AFR 3. Okay, y'all have a great day.